Welcome to the Turd Nerds. We are the functional gastroenterology podcast discussing all things poop. Before we take the plunge into today's episode, let us tell you a bit about ourselves. I'm Dr. Rebecca Sand, a naturopathic physician and acupuncturist, and I specialize in all things gastroenterology, hormones, and fertility.
I'm Dr. Ami Kapadia, and I'm a medical doctor trained in family medicine and functional medicine with a special interest in gastrointestinal health, food and environmental allergies, and autoimmune disease.
And I'm Dr. Lana Gurvich, a naturopathic physician and acupuncturist who is board certified in naturopathic gastroenterology. I specialize in inflammatory bowel disease, IBS, and other functional digestive disorders. Let's jump into today's episode.
The following discussion is for educational purposes only and not intended to diagnose or treat any diseases or conditions. Please consult your doctor before incorporating any of this information into your care. The information presented on this podcast is not medical advice.
Welcome, Turd Nerds. Hello to our YouTube followers, and really everyone.
Really?
Even if you can't see us, but you're missing out, because I think we all look great today, personally.
Besides the fact that a second ago we were agreeing it was a bad hair day.
It's a bad hair day for me especially, but that's fine. I have hair.
That's true.
So I'm excited today. I think we're all a little jazzed today because we're talking about something that actually 2 out of the 3 of us really struggle with. We have covered this topic before.
We will cover it again.
But I feel like it's something that the turds, us collectively, talk about all the time. So we wanted to do a reboot, and It's on
Sleep.
It's
I'm
on
always
sleep.
like, how do you guys function with less than 8 to 9 hours of sleep?
It's debatable.
I feel like my big question is, what is going on in Umi's microbiome that she can sleep every night, like 362
There's usually a few,
nights a
since
week?
I've gotten older, there's about 5 nights a year.
A year?
Yeah.
I have 5
Something
nights a
happens.
week.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've, in my conscious memory, ever slept through a night.
Okay, I do feel like if we're going to be honest, because, Dr. Sand trained with me, she was my resident way back when.
Didn't sleep at all then.
I mean,
For
really,
the whole
we didn't sleep.
time?
I mean, almost not. Like her sleep, she did not poop and she did not sleep.
That's not a good combination.
That's true. Yeah. It's amazing I'm here.
Here's what's
True.
interesting. I think all 3 of us run constipated, right?
It depends on the year.
Oh,
And
this
the month.
year are you running constipated?
It depends. If I have another problem going on, my body refixates on something else, and then I have no problem. Like when I was having all those dental issues, no problem.
Pooping.
Wow.
Yeah.
It just came right out.
I need to fixate on something. Usually, I think my body likes to
very
stress
awesome
out
of
about
you.
one part of my
That's
organ,
very
one
nice
organ
of it.
system.
Very kind.
Yeah, seriously.
I just do them all at once. Did you have a lot of antibiotics as a kid?
Yep.
Me too.
Me too.
Tons. Every year,
Yeah,
every
sure,
year,
no, you
2 to
didn't.
4 times a year.
Yeah.
My parents were doctors, so were yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of amoxicillin.
We had the bubble gum.
Yep.
Well, that
Yeah,
was
in the
good.
fridge.
Yep.
It was good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it being good, but I also paid the price of my Crohn's disease.
Same. I mean,
Okay,
that's
so it's not the constipation thing.
yeah.
I feel like the diet that the 3 of us eat is relatively similar. Like we both
No, Rebecca eats a lot of
fat.
Butter.
junk.
Fat. I love fat.
Junk?
No,
Do you not eat junk? I don't know. You don't
No,
eat
she
junk?
eats butter.
Okay.
I eat
Okay.
butter and I eat a
And
lot of
yogurt.
gluten
Bread?
and a lot of yogurt.
A lot of bread.
Dairy and gluten.
Okay.
I eat a lot of, but I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat
Okay.
a lot of
Sorry, I
packaged
didn't mean to
foods.
put you into this
Yeah,
category.
don't put me in a corner. I mean,
Maybe it was during your residency.
I
when
do
you were really
okay.
struggling.
I do. I'm not like a big junk food person. When I was
Maybe
pregnant,
that's me.
when I
Do
was
you eat?
pregnant,
You have an appetite.
so it goes in and out. It goes in and out.
Okay,
And
then
make
I
up for
eat the
it.
most junk food out of all of us. I
No.
was trying to get some company because
Sorry.
after work every
Hey,
day I
when
eat
I
junk
was-
food.
Yeah. When I was pregnant, I only ate Cheez-Its and Jif peanut butter.
It's
Really?
possible. I
For
think this is, I
3
knew you a
months.
lot during the pregnancy, and you would
Maybe
bring
that
in
was it.
various packaged food items that I was jealous
Yeah,
of.
I just ate Cheez-Its and Jif peanut butter, which was recalled for listeria like 3 times during my pregnancy. Which
That's
did
so
it stop
frightening.
me a little bit, but I kept going.
It is really good.
Okay, so it's
So
not.
creamy.
That
So the
palm
3
oil.
of us are constipated, so that's not the problem.
Yeah.
I guess here's my next question. What are we using
Yeah.
for sleep issues?
Well, lately,
Okay.
yeah, because, we covered how the microbiome affects sleep,
Right.
and we've done cortisol and all that, so go back and listen to those, because that ties into a lot of what we'll talk about today. But I feel like you dabble in things all the time.
I do. I am a little bit wild west mad scientist.
I feel like every time we talk,
With the
you're like,
sleep?
with everything.
listen,
Oh.
I have solved my sleep. I am sleeping so well, and it lasts about 2 weeks.
I think it lasts more than that. I can tell you what seems to work best for me.
Okay.
Why don't we start with what, you know what, let's pretend we don't have the first episode on sleep, episode
Okay,
7.
yeah, no, I have some input here because I feel like everyone thinks it's normal to drink caffeine. It is common, but it potentially can affect sleep even if you only drink caffeine in the morning before noon. And I feel like every person I ask is like, I only drink it in the morning. Yeah. So that's not it. But that's not true because it's got a 4-hour half-life.
So coffee, my understanding is coffee has an 8-hour half-life.
I think
and it takes 5 half-lives to get out of your system.
I don't know that coffee has a longer half-life than any other caffeine. Maybe it's something else in coffee besides the caffeine stimulant. I don't know.
I think it's the deliciousness.
It makes me crazy.
I love it. And it doesn't affect my sleep at all.
See, this is the falsehood that I don't believe
it. Doesn't.
I don't believe it either.
I have been sleeping poorly for like really bad. Like sleeping poorly for me is like I wake 10 to 20 times a night.
But you think you're really waking 10 to 20 times a night?
Yeah.
Then you got to start Wild Westing it with me, girl. Because I'm waking now. I'm in such a good spot.
But the last 3 nights, I've been sleeping better, and I had a double coffee both those days.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't think it's always like a direct correlation. Because people will say this all the time. Like,
you think it builds.
Okay, this is what happens.
But I wasn't drinking a double
coffee. We asked the patient. We asked the patient this question about like whatever the topic is, whether it's caffeine or that's not it. Because I had the problem before I started doing such and such.
Right.
It doesn't eliminate that from potentially contributing to the problem.
I'm not convinced.
So there might be other things going on.
Yeah, there might be
coffee might worsen it.
And I've taken like months off coffee.
Because it's not the only thing. It's a final common pathway.
Caffeine. Stopping caffeine.
Right, but what I'm saying is the underlying cause is not only the caffeine issue. There's a microbiome component. There's a nervous system.
There's that great book that I told you guys, Heal Your Headache 1, 2, 3, about the final common pathway of headaches.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. People will be like, it's not that, because I've been off of that. But it's like, it's this multitude of things.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that if I'm not arguing with you. I also do not think, I remember this great neurologist that I worked with, he had migraines too. And he's like, I was like, oh, so do you not drink caffeine? He's like, of course I drink. What's life without coffee? He's from Philadelphia, New York.
Don't you think it has to do with how you metabolize caffeine?
Yes.
Because I think some people are more efficient than others.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There's those different SNPs for anyone, I think for anyone who's sleeping poorly, they should at least consider that caffeine, even in the morning, is affecting their sleep, and the alcohol they're having in the evening is affecting their sleep, even though they don't usually
Actually,
drink.
I am at the stage of my life, I am in my middle 40s, where I can't actually think of anything much better than a good night's sleep.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, if I get a good night's sleep, the next day, the world is magical. Rainbows and unicorns and my product. I could rule the world. I could take off the world if I got a good night's sleep every night.
Yep.
And when I have even one drink of alcohol, I do not sleep well.
Yeah.
I cannot wind down. I cannot stay asleep. I am not rested. I am going to bed later. I'm missing my window.
Which brings us to blood sugar.
Okay.
But so do you think there's probably some alcohol that doesn't affect blood sugar as much as
I can tell you as a fact that red wine, like anybody who treats diabetics knows that there's this weird paradoxical thing that dry red wine does not actually spike their blood sugar, but it messes with their sleep.
And I think it depends on quantity.
So there's some other
reaction, obviously.
For sure.
And for me, at least, it messes with my sleep.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's the sugar.
Gets you to sleep.
Alcohol sedates you.
Yeah.
Alcohol sedates you. You're not sleeping.
Well,
but you're not sleeping. You're sedated. That's a difference.
I've seen people sleep.
Okay, so sleep is defined as REM, non-REM, and short-wave sleep, right?
Not REM.
Alcohol sedates you, but you're not going through your sleep architecture.
But do you think in other countries that alcohol has different effects on people's sleep because they're drinking it together in the Mediterranean in that blue zone?
Can I tell you a story about that?
What do you guys think?
My sister lives in the UK. And I was like,
that's moderation.
My sister lives in the UK, and I was like, oh, the data is pretty clear, no more than 2 drinks a week. And she's like, 2 drinks a week? And I'm like, 2 drinks a week. And she's like, 2 drinks a week. And I was like, is that like, what does that mean a week? Is that like a lot? Is that a little? She's like, in the UK, it's no more than 2 drinks a day.
Well, that's what we told people here for years, too.
I'm citing my knowledge.
Guidance for patients.
That's different than the general.
Usually it's 2 drinks a day for men, 1 drink a day for women is the general recommended.
Like the blood sugar, the empty calories, the sleep compromise.
But what it the dry red wine too?
Like if any of the, from my understanding, any of the data on alcohol that shows benefit, they're only using dry red wine.
Right.
That's it.
So
I mean, it's full of resveratrol, which is good for the gut.
It's
But it's
anti-inflammatory.
still sugar.
But it's still sugar and
inflammatory
alcohol.
But how much sugar?
Yeah.
If it's dry, it doesn't have a ton of sugar.
It's still
Less,
alcohol.
but it's still
Right,
alcohol.
right.
It's still alcohol, so
Yeah.
it's still sugar.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
does alcohol affect blood sugar independently of the sugar content?
Alcohol affects.
absorbed?
We'd have to
Faster?
wear a glucometer.
No, I mean, I believe that alcohol will raise your blood sugar, except for a moderate amount of dry red wine.
Or dry something.
I think I think that I feel
Should
like
we do a test?
I feel like
I think
pink
so.
We
and
can
white.
get
I'm
the
doing a dry
direct-to-consumer.
January though, so
We
we're
could-
gonna have
okay,
to
I'm
February.
doing no sugar January,
Oh,
except for my
got it.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would have done it if my business partner did not pull me under with him by having everybody bring the treats
David Chang. So
For what?
for my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Oh, did it already pass?
Yeah, it
Oh
was-
no,
it was
I
last
missed
week.
it.
That's fine.
We'll celebrate right
That
now.
sucks.
Yeah.
Should we say? No, just
Yeah.
kidding.
Okay, so we talked about alcohol.
Wait, I have a big topic.
Okay, go. I'm ready.
Histamine, which relates to alcohol.
Oh, that could be why it's waking people up too.
Right.
actually.
Okay, so,
So-
And that
dive
probably
into
affects
that.
blood sugar.
Okay, so histamine, we know, I mean, we're going to keep talking about it forever on this
Forever.
podcast because it's a huge part of gut health and stabilizing the microbiome. But histamine is an excitatory neurotransmitter.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So for people who have excess histamine floating in the body because their microbiome's making it or because their mast cells are just willy-nilly dumping it all over the place for whatever reason, they're carrying a higher level of an excitatory neurotransmitter that makes them anxious and not sleep.
Yes.
True. At
Yes.
baseline.
And if we give them antihistamines, especially ones that cross the blood-brain barrier, like Benadryl,
Yeah.
they sleep.
Yeah.
We block those receptors.
Yep.
So I know we have talked about how different types of histamine-supporting drugs and supplements have an effect on this.
Right.
Any you would like to mention, Alana?
God, yes. I mean, a lot of them. So besides, there's the stock pharmaceutical ones.
Totally.
Benadryl.
Yep.
Antihistamine sometimes can make you sleep. That's
Totally.
what they do. They make you sleepy.
Even the second gen, like cetirizine,
Cetirizine for most
loratadine.
sedating.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, then there's the hydroxyzine,
Mhm.
and then there is the ketonofen, which is the mast cell stabilizer.
Big time. And they all are a little bit sedating.
Yeah.
It's like the degrees to which they cross into the brain.
You know what's interesting to me about using something like hydroxyzine or ketonofen, which are like mast cell stabilizers
Yeah.
and antihistamines,
Yeah.
is for me, and luckily at the moment, I'm going to knock on wood, I do not have histamine issues. They are very sedating.
Yeah.
Very sedating.
Yeah.
Like a quarter milligram
Yeah.
will put me to sleep and keep me to sleep for 13 hours.
What? You've taken hydroxyzine?
Uh-huh.
What dose?
25.
Wow, that
For,
works for
oh
you.
my God. Oh my God. Like 2 was too much. I did not like hydroxyzine.
You didn't get up for days?
I honestly, I didn't actually feel awake until like 7 or 8 o'clock the next night.
Huh.
Like, and it's not, I was awake, I was working, but like
Yeah.
that sharpness
I think I
was
must
gone.
have a weirdo metabolism because it works for about 4 hours, 5
What?
hours for me, and then I'm back to my normal, like, let's get stuff done self, and then
Really?
I solve problems. Yeah. It knocks me out, and it's great. It's like I can get really solid sleep until like 2 or 3 and like 50 milligrams of hydroxyzine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you used hydroxyzine? No, you don't
No,
use anything for
I have taken
Rub it
Benadryl
in.
many times for
Yeah.
when people try to kill me with chickpeas and
Oh.
random. You never know these days the cuisines are going to put chickpeas in.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I have a lot of
It is
experience.
insane.
It's so annoying. I hope
Yeah.
the crop dies, except I don't, because I know people need it.
I mean, the
like
the
hummus.
irony is I'm about to go home and make like a chickpea brownie because it makes the best brownies
I
ever.
thought you were going to try the beans I could eat.
I did. I cooked them. I have them in the freezer waiting for you to
Okay,
come over for
please
So
dinner.
try.
wait,
Okay,
speaking of those
okay.
beans,
Uh-huh.
check out our website.
Oh, right.
Because now you can
Oh,
download Alana's famous bean.
How to cook a bean properly.
How to
recipe.
cook a bean properly to not wreck your microbiome.
Yeah,
Or
to
your
actually
ear.
help your microbiome and
Yeah.
not have gas for days.
That's right.
Good idea.
Okay, so we've got the antihistamines,
Yep.
right? And in my experience as somebody who's not, I don't have a lot of histamine stuff, they put me the hell to bed.
Yep.
But I have patients, and for me, a quarter milligram,
Yeah.
right? I have patients who can take 6 milligrams.
You're talking
Yeah.
about ketotifen.
I'm talking about ketotifen.
People will take it during the day. I
Right.
mean, we know this.
and
Yeah.
not get sedated
2
at all.
milligrams in the morning.
I mean, at least they say they're not sedated. I don't know what.
I
I,
mean,
don't
here's
think they're
the
as
thing.
sedated.
Here's my thing.
There
I
may not
think
be
it's
optimally
because
functioning, I
their
don't know.
histamine level is
It's
so
so high.
high that
Could
they bring
be.
them down to baseline.
Could be.
And maybe they're not as anxious and revved and they feel like a normal human.
Yeah.
It could
That's
be. Yeah, I don't know.
I also think by the nature of having histamine things, you have brain fog to start with.
Totally.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like that also is a little bit
Yeah,
of a
that's true.
baseline.
So maybe it helps their baseline.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
Okay.
I haven't tried it. But I
You've
feel
never
like I
tried
should.
ketotifen?
No.
I've tried it. It knocks me out for like a day.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
what I
like 13-hour half
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
That's what
No,
I
I can sleep for like 12 to 14 hours if I
So
took
unfair,
quarter
though.
milligram.
I mean, if I could sleep like you slept, I could rule the world.
That's
Wow.
how I feel too.
I could
I have
rule
other-
the world.
I sleep 8 to 9 hours, and I'm like, I hope I get through the day. That's like my baseline that I always joke with my friends at work. I'm like, how do you guys live like this? I have to do all of these things just to get through the day.
You know, when we were
I can't eat rice at lunch anymore. I gotta sleep
I think I
like
took
8 to 9
that one away from
hours.
you.
when we were expecting our child, people were like, "Get ready because of the sleep," and I'm like, "Honey, I've got this."
I've been training for this.
And it
I've been born
it was
ready.
like a regular night, you know. But my poor partner, who's a very good sleeper and drinks espresso throughout the day,
And a good sleeper.
sleeps like a rock.
Oh, good.
So is he just torn up because when she wasn't sleeping through the night?
He hung in there, you know. But I think it was harder on him.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I'm just
he also
like,
didn't
yeah,
have
what-
magic hormones.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to sleep. So, okay, antihistamines, for sure, an option for sleep that also affects the microbiome.
Yeah, totally.
Let's pull it back. Can we talk about my favorite thing, which is postbiotics?
Great. Yes. That was
Okay.
one of the reasons I wanted to have this episode
Okay.
today. Yeah.
So here is my crazy experience. So there is a local company in town that we really
Shout out to them.
like.
They're amazing.
Yeah, that we really like, and they make postbiotics. They make sterilized FMT postbiotics.
Yep.
And they're very expensive.
Yep.
And so I ended up, I used to sit on a board with the owner of the company, and she gave me a sample. We were at a board meeting once, and she gave me a sample, and it took me forever to try it because I was like, sterilized stool, that's like an FMT, that's like an organ
It's
transplant.
basically like autoclaved poop.
Literally, it's what she has a
But
patent for it.
because it's autoclaved,
So
Yeah,
it's
you
dead.
can't get sick from it.
there's
Yeah,
no
there's no-
viruses, bacteria, nothing
It's
alive
dead.
that could be contagious.
But there is all of the bugs, the deactivated bugs,
Mhm.
and then there's all the metabolites that are in the stool that come, like, those metabolites are basically like communication. That is how the microbiome communicates, is via these metabolites, and that's all encapsulated in this pill,
Yeah.
right? So it took me forever to start it, and I talk about it all the time. I was in the process. I was buying a building. It was very, very stressful. Dealing with the city of Portland just sucks. Blah blah blah. I was not sleeping. And I finally decided to be like, oh, maybe I went out to lunch with them like 6 months later. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. Fine. And so I tried it, and the craziest thing happened. One, I started sleeping through the night, not waking to pee, like deep sleep. And I started having crazy dreams.
Yeah.
Not nightmares, but maybe just a little bit back, like very vivid,
Yeah.
very active. Like it was like I was watching an action movie.
Like LDN?
I've never taken LDN,
but
that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Just like deep dreaming sleep.
Yeah.
Did my poop change? No, my poop did not change at
What was
all.
your poop, okay?
No, I'm always constipated. I'm magnesium dependent. I've been magnesium dependent for years. I might actually do something if
Maybe
magnesium
you're
didn't
just
work so
chronically
well.
magnesium deficient.
Well,
That's
I'm
what you're
chronically
saying
taking
that.
magnesium, so I'm dealing with a problem.
you
Well, because
heard-
stress and caffeine deplete magnesium, so maybe you're actually just magnesium deficient.
I mean, maybe.
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, Integrity? You've never taken it?
I've taken it. I have it.
Oh, okay.
I have it. But this is my question. Why would I bother? Magnesium is
Because
cheap.
I was constipated for decades.
Okay.
Oh, you think it reset?
I do. I was on it for 2 years, like everyone says, and I was able to get off of it.
I am like, magnesium works so well.
Yeah.
I know exactly how much I take.
You
I
have to take it.
every night. I take it every night. I know exactly how much I take. We're all magnesium deficient. Dr.
Yeah,
Swati
I mean-
just told us magnesium is depleted by
I
my
start
caffeine.
getting an
Also
eye
helps
twitch
with
when I
sleep.
drink too much caffeine.
Right.
And then I up my magnesium.
So
Anyone with an eye twitch, I would try magnesium.
Anyone with a human body.
Right. So then why would I take anything else
Yeah.
if magnesium works so well? I
You
do.
have to take something.
It's not a big deal, Rebecca. It's just right.
I mean, I do think
We're a couple pill.
I think I'm going to come to a time when it stops working, and then I
Why would
think
it stop working? It's an
You know what,
automatic
finally-
laxative, right?
listen. You have to assume it's only going to work for. We've all been
It
in
could work
medicine long
forever.
enough.
It
We've
could work
all been
forever.
in medicine long enough. And I could work on my microbiome. I can do all the 1,000 things that I have patients
Maybe after
do.
menopause.
Do it after menopause?
We'll see.
No, maybe you'll poop after menopause.
Or maybe I'll poop even worse after menopause.
No, let's not manifest that.
Because I'm going to be even drier than I am right now.
Oh, we'll figure it out when we get
Okay,
there.
so I started taking this postbiotic,
Yep.
and I started sleeping incredibly deep, vivid dreams, restorative. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up taking it for I think 2 weeks. So I had a
Yeah.
month supply. I took it for 2 weeks, and then I was like, okay, let's just see. Oh, I know what I was doing a bunch of stuff. I was doing also like morning cold showers, light immersion first thing
Look
in
at
the
you,
morning.
naturopath.
Yeah, I was doing all of the things. And I took the Thena, and then I stopped taking the postbiotic, and I continue to do the things, but then I hit more stress because the city of Portland is trying to, I think, take me out, or was. I think we're through that period right now, mainly because I gave him my certificate of occupancy. And I had another bout of stress, and I was like, oh, it's not all of the light circadian rhythm stuff. It was the postbiotic.
Yeah.
And so now I will pulse it for a week or two at a time. I'll reset my nervous system, and then I won't need to take it for a while.
Amazing.
So then...
But you still don't sleep through the night, or you do?
I am right now in a really good period.
So you get up once?
Or none.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Or none. But so I started giving it to patients.
Yeah.
Right? And I started telling patients, like, and I was not giving it to my diarrhea patients, my constipation patients.
Yeah.
I was giving it to my chronic insomnia patients.
Yeah.
And I think the three of us can agree the insomnia patient is the most, it's like just shy of the constipation patient with frustration. Like they're hard patients. Yeah. And so I was giving it to them. I was prescribing it for them. And they were coming back and being like, oh yeah, like 60% of them were like, oh yeah, I think my sleep's better. Yeah, and my poop is great too.
Oh, great. Yeah. I think it's gut-brain stuff.
I think it is too. I think it's those metabolites.
Yep.
Yeah. We should have them come on and explain to us what it's doing.
We should.
Yeah.
Do you think they know?
I think that based on what I understand, they are doing a crap ton of animal research on it.
Good.
And then they're also working on publishing case studies. So that if they can find a good group of case studies to publish, then they can know how to structure their study.
Yeah.
I think another thing for sleep, like some people need physical exertion, other people need mental exertion, other people need both.
Yeah.
I found for myself, if my brain isn't exhausted, I can't sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
Really fair point.
Like, I have to have some sort of, if I'm not working or wasn't in school, the only times before being an adult I couldn't sleep was like when I didn't do, even if I did physical exertion, if my brain wasn't tired, I couldn't sleep. Whereas other people, because like my culture, we focus more on like cognitive. We don't push ourselves physically as much, but I'm not speaking for everyone, but like, you know, if I'm uncomfortable, I take a nap.
But I also think, like, sometimes when I've worked really hard for, like, 15 hours or something, and I haven't gotten time to kind of process,
that'll keep you up.
I'll definitely get constipated and I won't sleep.
Oh.
You know, and it's that whole thing about, like, you need to process your feelings, whatever.
Could be.
Whatever.
But
you don't process your feelings, whatever.
No time for feelings.
Or suppress them.
Yeah. But that journaling brain dump thing, you know.
Does that help you sleep?
It helps, like, a lot of my patients sleep. Like, that's one of my go-to. You just set a timer and write, like, stream of consciousness, you know, until the timer goes off, right before bed, because it gets the, like, whatever you haven't processed, even if you're writing to-do lists.
Yeah. Right.
And the most important thing is you don't go back and read it.
Huh.
Like, I do not want you ever to go back and read it, because people are so judgy of themselves that they'll worry about, like, are they saying it right, and what if someone reads it? So I'm like, throw it in the trash, burn it, whatever. I just don't want you reading it. And it really works. Like, I would say, you know, 50 to 75% of people know.
Have you ever done anything like that?
Well, I give people the Cure for Chronic Pain website, and she goes through parts 1. I tell people watch parts 1 through 4 of Healing Yourself, I think it's called, and she teaches her form of journaling, which I've done and is super helpful. It's based on Dr. Sarno's work.
It's like allowing yourself to kind of like air out so it doesn't resurrect at night and you're ruminating and trying to solve all your issues you never got to during the day.
Right.
Melatonin. I have a lot of thoughts on melatonin.
Go.
So I give it for fertility. I give it for ovulation.
Okay.
So it helps enhance ovulation because it's a super potent antioxidant. Which
Which
a lot of people don't know. It's way more potent than like vitamin C or some of those other things that we talk about as antioxidants. And because specifically for the ovaries, they're so susceptible to inflammation because cell turnover is so high. So it can help with healthy ovulation if whether you're trying to conceive or regulate cycles.
And you're giving like macro doses, micro doses?
0.5 to 3.
Okay, so really just very standard dosing.
And in my experience, and this isn't based off anything I've read, but my experience, once you get over 3 milligrams, it doesn't help sleep much anymore.
I don't know if I agree from my personal
body experience with that.
Okay, so my experience is that I love melatonin. Like the things that I take regularly are a sleep blend and magnesium.
Like an herbal sleep blend?
Like an herbal sleep blend with melatonin in that.
The chewable thing that you take?
Oh my god, I thought dessert. Yeah.
Wait, the like fruit punch flavored ones?
I don't know.
They're like that big?
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good. I call like literally me and my one of my good friends.
Do they make the GABA one too?
No, different. I know which one you're talking about. I like that company too. I like that company too.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend, Dr. Larrabee, are always like, Do you have dessert? Where's dessert? Do you have dessert?
Did she take it too?
No, she sleeps like you sleep.
Oh, okay.
She
has no problem.
She has no
That's
problem.
not true. She has problems.
Maybe that's why the two of you have such beautiful skin.
Oh, I bet it is.
From sleeping a lot.
Yeah.
Hope you're happy.
Yeah. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm trying to lather estrogen on my skin.
Basically, wishing I'd word or something.
No.
Not at all.
Okay,
Not at all.
so so if I'm going through one of these waves where I'm not sleeping, I will take 10 to 20 milligrams
Oh,
of
melatonin,
Yeah.
huge whopping dose.
What's your morning look like?
Fine.
It doesn't make you any
I think that I metabolize it very quickly.
I feel like in my
Should
current patient population, they just generally say melatonin doesn't work, but I don't know why.
What?
I know. I don't know why. I mean, there's so many other things going on.
Here's my question. I also personally, like, I hate to admit it, but I think that brands matter.
I'm sure it does.
And it could it be that they're not getting what they
I
think they're
see
getting?
what we send
a lot
them.
of variability.
Oh, because
So-
it's in your formulary.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So
I think there's just
I-
so many different issues going on.
Yeah. And I mean, if your cortisol's through the roof before you go to bed, melatonin's not going to have a fighting chance.
It doesn't affect cortisol.
Also, if your sleep hygiene, because I will say one of the times that I have trouble
hygiene is
sleeping.
never good.
But that
Yeah,
raises
the
your
phone.
cortisol.
No, it's not my phone. It's when I'm closing my charts. Because like what I'm
Oh,
doing
late
now
at
is I'm
night.
like coming home after
Yeah.
work, putting my kids to bed,
Yeah.
hopping back on for the fourth
Do you wear
shift.
blue blockers?
No,
Oh, I've got.
but I turn it off on my screen.
Yeah.
But definitely I'm stimulated.
Get blue blocking glasses.
yeah, I
Just do
like the Swanwick ones.
Yeah.
Not
Protect your
affiliated.
pineal gland.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I might as well try because I'm hopping on for my fourth shift
Yeah.
to close my documentation.
Yeah.
That sucks.
You're using AI charting.
Yes, yes, I love it. But still, I mean, even if you're
she sees too
doing
many patients.
support, I mean,
Yeah.
like I think I'm at like 16 to 18 a day at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like okay, so so melatonin. I'm a big fan, even though it doesn't seem to work for anybody.
Well, no, that's
It
the
works
current
for me.
previous population. I think it did work for people who had that trouble falling asleep but not necessarily staying asleep, right?
Mhm.
That's the traditional use for what we're using it for.
Yeah.
But more complicated patient population doesn't seem to work as much. I have to use a lot of trazodone.
So I think that the data shows that melatonin has a robust amount of data, especially when it comes to flipping time zones and jet lag. Right?
Yeah.
That's very clear,
Yeah.
very effective. I also think that if you like chunk out the data, it's also effective to like shorten the amount of time it takes you to fall asleep.
Right,
Yeah.
to fall asleep.
But it's pretty quickly
take it, right?
metabolized.
Yeah.
There's also the extended release melatonin,
right.
which
Love those. That's what I take.
do you?
Mhm.
I've never. Does it make a difference?
Yep.
And do you have
Doesn't
Gives
people?
me about 2 more hours.
I
Doesn't
was
work
taught that some people do better on smaller doses. Did
So
you guys learn that?
there is a theory where you take a half a milligram,
Yeah.
like 2 hours, an hour and a half, and an hour
I've
before
even
bed.
heard like half hours.
Yeah, every 30
sleep.
minutes.
Yeah.
No one's gonna do
No
that.
one's going to do that.
But
Well,
I-
I think desperate people do it.
yeah.
But do some people do better on a half a milligram compared to 3 milligrams? Is that a
the
myth
answer
or-
is no. Yes, there
I
are
see
people.
people prefer lower doses because the morning grogginess.
Okay, so that's more of that than it's like it
Yeah.
works better at half a milligram.
So
than
I have a
paradoxical
weird
reaction.
thing with this for me personally. I used to take melatonin on and off, but I
Uh-huh.
could only do like 2 or 3 nights at a time.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, it would make me super depressed.
Oh,
Super,
wow.
Really, really depressed. Couldn't keep taking it, and I tested it for months and months to make sure it was
Wow,
that
that
because it
makes
did help me
sense.
sleep. Serotonin.
Yeah, it
you know.
pushes. Yeah.
Yep. So, and I am like very serotonin deficient body, but
Why would it make it worse then?
Because it upregulates the conversion of your natural serotonin into melatonin,
Oh.
which is what happens with the natural formation of melatonin. But I think it just,
I don't see that with patients. But it really was.
I see it with some.
Yeah, it was really true for me.
when you
and
take
then-
oral melatonin, it pushes the pathway to make more melatonin.
To convert your serotonin to melatonin.
Yeah. So I don't know what that was about, but that I've tried it at different times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
like
each time.
Yep, and each time, yeah, it told. So I got away with like 2 or 3 consecutive nights I could take it. Then I'd have to take a long break, like weeks, and then I could do it again. So that's why my rotation. Then I started trazodone,
Uh-huh.
75
Uh-huh.
for like months. I would say like 8-9 months, and it worked until it didn't because that's usually how
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah,
Got off it, and now I can take melatonin every night.
every night.
Huh.
Completely fine.
So we should give people trazodone for.
So I guess that's our new protocol. I don't
then
know.
switch to
I'm a
melatonin?
weird one. But what is
Yeah,
that about?
I mean, trazodone, I like it because
Yeah.
it doesn't mess with your sleep architecture.
Totally.
I mean, it a little bit shortens your REM sleep,
Yep.
but not like some of the crazy
It was the
other
first
drugs.
time in my life I didn't feel anxious about sleeping.
That's amazing.
And that was a real gift.
I mean,
when you took trazodone?
Yeah.
that is a real gift.
Yeah.
That is a real
I mean, I could go to
gift.
friends' houses. We could go
Yeah.
on vacation, and I wasn't going to be like, oh, like what's my cocktail?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
just knew I
Okay,
would
but
sleep.
did you take it after you had a baby?
Mhm.
I mean, here's my other question. Was it the trazodone, or was it the fact that your nervous system is different because you actually grew a baby in your body and her DNA is in your brain?
She was like a year old. No, over a year. She was like a year and a half when I started taking it.
I just wonder.
Yeah, I mean, stuff is so different.
Yeah.
Stuff is so
She's
different.
also not a great sleeper, though.
She's a good sleeper.
She just, okay.
She just drinks a lot of water.
Yeah.
Better
Okay.
than not drinking any
So
water.
we have
She's not
pharmaceutical,
constipated.
and she's probably going to avoid antibiotics because her mom's a
I
naturopath.
sure hope
Yeah,
so.
she's
I
never
hope
getting
so. I'm gonna knock on the
antibiotics
couch
unless she's
here, you guys.
Okay, so we talked about some pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
We talked about melatonin. We talked about alcohol, caffeine. Let's talk about herbs.
I also want to talk about magnesium.
Okay, let's talk about magnesium first.
Yeah.
3 and 8, glycinate.
3 and 8, yeah.
Glycinate, malate.
Glycinate,
Yep.
yeah, not citrate. That'll just make you poop for the most
I mean,
part.
I take citrate and mix with poop, but 30% goes to my nervous system.
Yeah. You can just do better.
There's
I'm sure.
blends. There's
Nervous
different
system.
blends.
Yeah. So 3 and 8 specifically, what are you guys seeing with that?
It is mixed.
Yeah.
There are people that it is like the thing that they were missing.
For sleep, for stress, for
Yes.
migraines?
Yes. Not for migraines. I actually, the interestingly enough, I think the migraine
Mag
research
oxide.
is actually mag
Yeah,
oxide.
it's on mag oxide.
Maybe it's that I don't know. I don't know why.
Here's the thing. I think
Mag
mag
oxide
oxide
makes-
preparations, because I dove into this, have more elemental magnesium in it.
Could be. So maybe you still absorb a good amount, even though.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I would go mag malate or mag glycinate would be my.
I know.
favorite.
I would usually give citramate because it has citrate and malate.
Okay,
for
let's
most things.
do that real quick. Okay, so we have mag oxide. Mag oxide goes 100% to the bowels. But what I'm learning right now, just today, is maybe it has some elemental magnesium in it, so it goes. But mainly, that's like if you want to purge the bowels, mag oxide is what you want to
It
do.
must
doesn't
have
get
some
absorbed.
significant systemic absorption if we're using it for migraines.
That's what makes no sense
But
to
I
me.
think it has elemental.
Right, so it must get absorbed in some form, like a
I
significant.
think some of the
in that
labels
form.
will even list off like
The amount of elemental?
milligrams of elemental
Yeah,
in
like
it.
iron.
Okay, so then we're going to back down. Then we're going to go to mag citrate. Mag citrate goes 70% to the bowels, 30% to the nervous
It's
system.
like the second worst absorbed.
Right. So it helps you poop.
Just stays in there, is like a salt, draws water in, your stool softer.
Then we go mag glycinate. Mag glycinate goes 30% to the bowels, 70% to the nerve and the musculature.
Yep.
And however, I do definitively have patients who use mag glycinate to poop.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
combo products.
Yeah.
There are like
Yeah, there's
really
a
good
bunch with
combo
combination.
powders that will definitely, I mean, you get it high enough, you're going to poop.
So then
Yeah,
there is magnesium malate,
Yep.
which I think of as like mitochondrial energetic support. Then there
I
is.
use that one for cramping too, menstrual cramping.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
I see a little bit of like skeletal muscle for like glycinate.
Yeah.
And then what's the other muscle?
The other muscle?
Yeah, so skeletal muscle is when we move. What's the one that's
Smooth muscle?
Smooth muscle for malate.
That
Huh.
makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then there's mag threonate.
Yeah.
Mag threonate is the only one that crosses the blood-brain barrier
Yeah.
and goes up to the brain. So
Yeah.
that's for like anxiety,
Insomnia.
emotionality, insomnia.
Mhm.
Yep. Any other magnesiums that I'm missing?
I think that's it.
Citrate, malate. There's a carbonate. I don't use that one that
I've
much.
never used that.
There's an aspirate. I don't use that one that much.
There's like straight elemental, but
Yeah.
no, I think that's it.
Okay, so that's magnesium.
Yeah.
Herbs. Should we popcorn? our
There's
favorite herbs?
ozonated magnesium. I've got some people into that. Mago 7.
Oh, but
Oh,
that's like an
that's
oxide
weird.
though.
Yeah, it's just ozonated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Herbs. Popcorn herbs.
For sleep?
Mhm.
Ashwagandha,
Anything for cortisol, right?
lavender, yeah.
Lemon balm.
Skullcap.
Passion
Valerian.
flower.
Kava. Oh, kava.
And a pelvic relaxant.
Kava is. I mean, kava has such a long history as a sedative.
Except for that weird black box type warning concern that was not, was not real, but
yeah.
gave it a bad name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Get good sources for your herbs. And we've got tons of Ziziphus, like Chinese herbs.
Oh, yeah.
That are brilliant for sleep. So some really good hops even, which
Hops,
is a phytoestrogen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great blends out there.
And then there's like a little bit of this.
Chamomile
a little bit-
tea.
Chamomile is good.
Mhm.
Valerian is great.
Yeah.
There's like a little bit of this and a little bit about that.
Yeah.
B6 can sometimes be helpful for sleep.
Which is weird, because I thought the B vitamins were all stimulating.
I mean, definitely
But they
B12
put
is
them in those
stimulating.
products.
I don't know if B2 is stimulating.
B12
B6?
makes me tired.
What about B6?
B6 I think is sedative. It's
Oh,
good for
weird.
anxiety.
Yeah, it is good for anxiety.
Yeah. And then there's what I'm doing right now, which is I think now that I'm talking about it, maybe that's why I'm sleeping so well.
Tell me.
Right now, what I am doing is I am making a sleepy time tea every single night, and I'm putting in 1,000 milligrams of inositol and 1,000 milligrams of glycine, and they're sweet. They're very, very sweet.
Huh.
And they're, I think for the perimenopausal, postmenopausal women, glycine is
Doesn't it
brilliant.
help blood sugar too? One of those?
Inositol, right?
Inositol and glycine do.
Oh, wow. And
That's why
tea.
That's why
So
for
good.
perimenopause I always give magnesium glycinate because glycine has it helps with insulin resistance.
That is what I'm doing every single night.
Brilliant.
And it is with my sleepy time tea, which is a little bit like footy flavored, like a little bit bitter.
I think it's sweet.
Well, the tea bag, like there's a sleepy time with like hops and valerian and
valerian tastes like butt. It is not.
Yeah, it's not, and it's like
not a good
it's
taste.
a smelly sock, sturdy sock.
Yeah.
Could you just do a chamomile tea with the glycine and inositol?
Yes, but I don't mind that. Like I feel like the sweetness
She's
and the
got a
amino
cocktail.
acids.
Leave her alone.
It's and then
Okay, I want to try it, but not with the gross tea.
I think you should try it with the gross tea. I mean, I guess you should probably use it as a stimulant. You don't need it to help you sleep. We don't need you to sleep any longer.
So I did want to talk
chamomile.
about the amino acids though, because theanine.
Yes, theanine.
It just the way I describe it to patients. So it works on serotonin and dopamine.
Yeah.
It like turns the volume down. So people who just have like an active brain, they can't stop thinking, they're like waking during the night. It just turns the volume down.
Yes.
It's not going to sedate you. You can take it during the day too if you're anxious.
Yes.
But it like levels you out a little bit so you can stay asleep.
Have you seen it work?
Yeah.
For yourself?
Yeah. And you know where it really works? Pregnant people.
Huh. I will say that I am making the assumption that my brain is so
it doesn't do anything.
It's at 11, so theanine does it to 10.5.
What about with GABA? If you pair it with GABA,
that's in the main anxiety formula.
That one,
yeah,
that I love for my anxiety, but I do see it help with sleep for people, not for you.
I mean, no, I think right now I'm in a sweet spot either because of the postbiotic or because of the inositol glycine.
Hold it. Yeah,
and I mean, I'm just like. And that's even with me, like, putting the kids to bed and closing my charts after that. My sleep is still great.
Wow.
I feel like I want to knock on something. I'm really worried that I'm going to lose it.
I feel the same way about this episode. So you're welcome, Turds, for having this conversation, but we all just jinxed ourselves with that slide.
Whenever I have more anxiety, I just up my dark chocolate intake and my cashew butternut intake.
And that helps.
And I overeat it.
Because if I have chocolate,
I need like a sledgehammer. I need like a sledgehammer to move stuff. That would make me happy for a minute.
I mean, I eat it throughout the day. I just up the quantity.
And then
if I eat that too late, I can't sleep. Chocolate will make me not sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the bromine and.
Yeah, I definitely like. I think that I have that defect, which is why I can't drink coffee. I drink lots of green tea and I drink matcha and all that is like the perfect caffeine amount for me. But coffee makes me crazy. Like, A, it makes me hypomanic.
Yeah.
And B, it makes me like annoying to be around.
Yeah, I don't drink regular coffee either. I drink chai and I drink decaf coffee.
Your chai is black tea.
Yeah, that's black tea. I tried to go off the dark chocolate. I put it in the trash and I got it out.
I know this.
And I was trying to go off for like a couple weeks.
I think that's an episode of Sex and the City.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, with the chocolate cake. Yeah. It's also an episode of my life. I've totally been there.
I'm like, I'm not giving up dark chocolate. What else do I have?
Why are we bringing this into my house? I won't eat it if it's not in my house. Why are you bringing it into my house?
I need it on a daily basis.
It's good.
No sugar. You should try no sugar January.
It's not the sugar on it. It's 85 or 90% chocolate.
Yeah, I'm eating it for the sugar.
I don't know. I just have an addiction.
Yeah. But I mean, if that's your addiction, you're killing it.
Yeah, you're fine.
I think that was a pretty. Anything else?
Yeah, I got some good tips. I think I'm going to try upping my melatonin.
Yeah.
But if I get depressed, you guys have to fix me.
I'm going to give you some.
My brother always says if he sleeps more than 7 hours, he gets more tired. Is there any?
People say that.
Is that true?
People say
I definitely.
Maybe I should cut back. Maybe I should cut back.
Here's my question. At this point, I know you. I know your sister, right? And I hear a lot about your brother. You have different mitochondria than the two of them.
Maybe I have more energy if I didn't sleep as much.
Or maybe because they have kids. They can't self-care as much?
I don't know.
And they just
I'm just wondering if there's any reality to that statement.
I've also heard that you're not
too
gonna
much.
I've heard you're not gonna sleep more than your body needs. Like you just won't. My partner though, world's best sleeper. Like I will take drug after drug after drug and melatonin and all the things, do my nighttime routine, like no screens, everything. We go to bed. He's out in 30 seconds. And I'm like, hour and a half. And I join him, right? And he'll just sleep solidly. Right now, we're going to bed at like 9:30. And he wakes up around 7:30 every day.
And you are going to bed at 9:30, but you're going to bed at like 11.
Like 6 to 12 times a night.
He's getting a solid 10 hours.
Now, exactly. And
Okay, I don't feel so bad.
I will wake up. If I'm doing better, I'll wake up myself at like 6:37. And he's just out. He'll just sleep.
It is good
What's
to
that
check
about?
your pillows and make sure your pillow's not moldy.
They're not,
This
trust
is an
me.
issue.
I am terrified of
All right.
mold.
Wow.
Me too, thanks to Ami.
Good to check your pillow once in a while. I really enjoy Cotton Clown's wool pillow.
Oh, I think you told me about
Yeah,
this.
the
Do you have
standard
one?
stuff.
You have one upstairs?
A pillow?
I feel like there was a pillow that you
No,
had.
I had a buckwheat pillow.
Because
Oh, that's
cotton
it, that's
pillows
it.
can get moldy.
Totally.
But I don't think wool molds very easily.
Ours are new.
And then you put a dust mite cover on
And I
there.
have an allergy cover.
Good to check once in a while.
Yeah, no, trust me.
Yeah, I feel like I was never afraid of mold until I started hanging out with you, and
I'm
now it's like
terrified of mold. And
petrified.
we live in the wrong place, guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't
But you know
matter.
what? Honestly, I think that if we left in a really hot place, you're using swamp coolers or ACs, and those are getting
That
mold.
would be worse.
You're not safe anywhere.
You're not safe
You're
anywhere.
not safe anywhere.
Let's end with
That's
that.
our message.
Let's end with that. Okay, turds. We'll see you next time.
Sleep well,
See ya.
everyone. Should we cheers?
Cheers.
Cheers.
So good night sleep.
Thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned. We release episodes every 2 weeks.
If you like this episode, please subscribe and don't forget to rate and review us to help spread the turd nerd word.